Hi everyone, I'm Dhruvi from Local Leaders of the 21st Century. I'm a junior at Amador Valley High School and this is the first video of our Vegan Thanksgiving series. Today we're going to be making vegan focaccia bread. Focaccia bread is a recipe that my family and I love. However, when I realized that many of the ingredients weren't sustainable or vegan, I decided to make my own version and share it with you all. Focaccia bread is a thin Italian flatbread that can be topped with any ingredients you want after you make the main bread, which we'll be doing in this instructional video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Hi to everyone once again. Today we're going to be making some vegan focaccia bread, aka we won't be using milk, eggs, or any other animal products. Today you're going to be needing bread flour, salt, sugar, water, oil, instant yeast. Most of these ingredients can be found in your house with ease, so this is the perfect recipe to make if you don't want to go outside and get the ingredients. Let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is take my bread flour and measure out 4 cups of that. After taking out your 4 cups of bread flour or all-purpose flour, we're going to take 2 teaspoons of sugar and put that inside our mixture. Then measure out 1.5 teaspoons of salt and also put that in. The last thing we'll be needing is yeast. We'll be needing 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant dried yeast. After placing my instant dried yeast in the mixture, I'm going to whisk it until fully blended. After you finish whisking that, we're going to add the wet ingredients. First thing, measure out 1 1/3 cup of room temperature water. Go ahead and pour that in. And also measure 1 tablespoon of olive oil. That's 1/2 and another 1/2. I don't have olive oil, so I will be using canola oil today, even though the recipe calls for olive oil. Go ahead and mix that with a wooden spoon or spatula. Now we're going to need the dough. It was very chunky at first, and there was a lot of, not a lot, but some leftover flour. So when you're making this recipe, keep that in mind, that the wet and dry ingredients might not totally make the perfect mixture. You're going to have to put a lot of pressure when kneading. My mom helped me, and that clip will be right there before this one. But for now, we'll just be kneading. We're going to put this dough aside and then grab another bowl big enough to fit your dough. Get some oil on your hands and slightly oil the sides of the bowl. This will help when the bread is rising, and it'll also make it easier to get it out. Then take your dough, roll it into a ball, and place it inside of your bowl. Get something clean, like a clean napkin to put on top of it. Make sure the container you're using is big enough so that the dough can double in its size or expand. And so I'm re-oiling this new container I've chosen, placing the dough in that. And then covering it up with a napkin. Now you're going to take this to a warm place. The recipe says you can place it by a sunny window. However, we're not getting much sun right now. It also says you can put it inside of your oven with the light on. So I will be doing that. If you guys want, you can also put some toppings on your focaccia bread. So let's prepare that as it is waiting for the 1 hour. So today I'm going to be topping it with some olives, a tomato, and red pepper seasoning flakes. You can also season it with paprika powder and rosemary sprigs. I got the container of olives open, so I will get some out. Set that aside, and then get my tomato, and I will be cutting this up into very small pieces, very small and thin. So we have that. And this. Once again, we have our olives. They're sitting in the water that comes from it. Red chili flakes and crushed basil powder. These were just 2 seasoning items I had in my home. You can obviously season it with whatever you want. And then I've cut up some tomatoes. After taking the dough out from 1 hour of waiting, we're going to roll it down flat with a rolling pin. Your dough should have risen. As you can see, mine is very close to double the size of the original dough. Make sure that after rolling it, it's about half an inch thick. Then take the pan you're going to be baking. I'm just using a normal brownie pan. I'm going to be taking some oil on my hand, just like we did with the bowl. And oiling it down. Then I will take the dough, place it inside. You want to make sure it fills up until the very corners. So stretch out the dough to make sure it fills the entire pan for crisp edges. Inside of the bread so that it can rise. I'm using the back of a spoon and poking holes in it. This is also the perfect time to get your toppings ready if you're going to be placing any, since we will be baking it with the toppings on. And once again, make sure it fills until the very corners of the pan. Then I'm going to get the toppings that we've prepared, which are my olives. Make sure you're not getting too much of the water. And go ahead and scatter those olives, tomatoes, etc. After prepping your ingredients, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, and then put your focaccia bread inside of the oven for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. Hi everyone! I really hoped you enjoyed that recipe. Make sure that you create your own focaccia bread and share it to our account on Instagram.